As he marks 3 years in office, President Tinubu says the fundamentals are improving. The exchange rate has stabilized, foreign reserves have strengthened, the stock market is booming, and rating agencies like S&P, Fitch, and Moody's have upgraded Nigeria's outlook. But many Nigerians say life has never been harder. So which reality should matter more politically? The macroeconomic numbers or the lived experience of millions of ordinary Nigerians?
My feeling has always been that great narratives about achievements that do not translate into improved conditions of living remain what they are, narratives that do not mean much to the people of the country. If in a 4-year tenure, after 3 years, you are saying the indicators are positive, even if lived reality is one of misery and suffering, then you have lost the argument. I don't find it convincing at this stage, having gone through 3/4 of the tenure, to make the case that foreign observers, some foreign observers, are telling you you are doing well. My sense of democracy is that it's your citizens who tell you whether their lives are improving. And any ability to listen to what Nigerians are saying would be very clear in its verdict that the life they experience for the majority of them is one of misery and suffering. But it's not only that they live a life of misery and suffering, but they see the other side, the tiny minority in power, live a life of opulence, self-aggrandizement, and an attitude to accumulation that's completely self-serving. That, for me, cannot be a positive sign.
Well, I would say that the Nel Fund is a very good idea. It's working. People can point to it and identify beneficiaries. But beyond that, I will stick to the truth. And that truth is that I will take the exact opposite position of the president. He was quoted to have said that all the fundamentals are now in place. I will say that the fundamentals have never been more skewed. And I'll tell you why. The fundamentals include security. Are we more secure today than we were in 2023? The answer is no, with all due respect to those who differ. Is inflation worse? Yes. Is the value of the naira gone through the heavens and is heading to hell? The answer is yes. And of course, there's a reference to Southern Poor's and the Fitch ratings. These are international organizations that have been known to rate nations and the economy and performance of nations. But without prejudice to the reputation of these two organizations, I have very little respect for them, and I'll also tell you why. Go and check the companies that Southern Poor's and Fitch Ratings in particular rated very highly before, I think, the 1989 meltdown. Nobody, these two organizations did not see it coming at all. And recall that I think when Okonjo-Iweala was still here, there was a time their rating changed within 3 weeks after a conversation. Now, you can have all the ratings you want in this world. The simple question to ask, and that applies to every one of us here and whoever is watching. Your cousins in the village, are they faring better? The president, all the ministers, all the heads of MDAs in the country are from villages. Nobody is from a town. How are the people faring? How much are they spending now? What's their income looking like? What are they spending on transport? Is it commensurate with their income? Those are the questions to ask. So self-adulation becomes almost offensive when it's running clearly counterfactually to everything you're seeing around you. Fitch ratings, are they Nigerian citizens? Are they the views to take seriously? Why is it that fluctuations in petrol will reflect here? And we pay more all the time, and those who are paying on the same income. So, but these facts are the realities. You can't separate it from the fact that the government has good intentions, had good intentions, couldn't have put these things in place in order to make Nigerians suffer. But the truth is, Nigerians are suffering. To now announce your intention without looking at impact on citizen welfare is a different matter. The whole point of expenditure is honest conversation to begin with. And I personally have an issue with many of those who communicate to government.
Let me turn to you, Professor Ibrahim. A lot of comments have been made so far, but I mean, 3 years in, what would you identify, if at all, as the administration's single biggest achievement and its single biggest failure?
Now you're asking me a tough question. Biggest achievement.
Well, that's why you're a professor.
It's a tough question because the biggest achievement that have been pointed out is increased revenue. But when you talk to people in the ministries, all of them say they are getting only 5%, maximum 10% of their budgets. So when government says its fiscal policies have now raised the levels of revenue massively, and you said, oh, that's excellent. So that means government ministries, departments, and agencies will have more money to produce public goods. And as many ministers have confessed in public, the reality is they are getting less than 10% of their capital budgets, which means the increased revenue has no basis in reality. And that, in my assessment, is what this government says is its biggest achievement. In terms of the general performance, I feel strongly that the level of insecurity that has been rising since the president came into power has been the biggest problem for the people of this country. The fact that banditry is increasing, kidnapping for ransom is increasing, the killing of peasants on their farms is increasing, movement along our roads remains a very risky affair. All this point to the fact that this basic issue that every state is supposed to guarantee, the security of lives and properties of citizens, is not at all guaranteed in this country. It is really problematic that at the policy front, what we hear government say, since his first year in office, President Tinubu has been talking of, we'll have state police and that will solve the security of the country. 3 years later, he's saying what he said in the first year, we will have state police. So when are you going to have state police when you have done 2/3 of your tenure already and you haven't, 3/4 of your tenure, and you haven't done what you said you will do? I'm not saying state police is the answer, but it's just to point at this terrible confusion at the level of policy of making claims that are not borne out in reality,
right,
making promises that are not fulfilled. And all this is a real problem for a government that wants to be taken seriously by citizens.
Well, thanks for that assessment.